Okay, so in the video we will see about the general organic chemistry. So I will be taking a series of videos on general organic chemistry. In that series, this will be the part 1, first video. We will be seeing the general organic chemistry concepts. So in any organic reactions, we will have reactants, and then you will have reagents. Sometimes you will be given a solvent, and then you will have an intermediate, which will be usually an unstable species. The intermediate will be either a carbocation or mostly a carbocation or sometime carbanion species. So this has to be stabilized. This has to be stabilized by one of the following effects. The first effect being the resonance, which is the most strong and most important effect in organic chemistry. The second one is hyperconjugation, and the third one is, there is no order, but except for resonance the others may follow in any order: steric hindrance, and then hydride or methyl shift, and then ring expansion, and then aromaticity, and then I will write it here. The last one is the inductive effect. This is the weakest effect of all the organic effects, which will be stable. This will stabilize the intermediate. So once the intermediate is stabilized, this will release a leaving group. So this leaving group is called as the fugacity. Leaving group is a thermodynamically stable species which will be released after the intermediate is stabilized to form the product. So usually in organic chemistry we will have one major product and you will have one minor product. So the major product will be depending upon the type of the reaction that we are going to see in these reactions. So first we will see step by step how do we go about this. So this is called as the organic schema. So this organic schema is very important in predicting the product of any reactions in the organic chemistry. Okay, so let me take you through this organic schema. How do we go about this? So the first step in predicting the products. If you want to predict products in any organic reactions, the first step is to follow this organic schema. So whenever you are given any reaction, first you have to identify which is the reactant, then you should identify which is the reagent, then you should identify the solvent. It will be easy, and by the due course of this videos you will be knowing how to identify all these things. Usually which is given in the left hand side will be the reactant. What is given above the arrow will be generally the reagent. Generally the solvent will be given below the arrow, and then you will have the intermediate, which as told you is an unstable species, and so on. So the first step after writing this organic schema, the first step what you have to do is you have to generate plus and minus in reactant and reagent. You have to create plus and minus centers in the reactant and reagents. So how do we do this? How to create a plus and minus in the reactant and reagent? So the first method usually is to see the electronegative difference between the atoms. Say for example, if you take methyl chloride, you can see that the electronegativity difference between carbon and hydrogen will be less than the electronegativity difference between carbon and chlorine. Therefore, this bond will be having the more electronegativity difference. So we put a minus charge here and a plus charge here. So this is one way of generating a plus and minus in the reactant. Another way of creating the plus and minus in the reactant is to see whether there is any C double bond O group. This is a very most popular group in the organic chemistry reactions. So once you see this group, you know that oxygen is more electronegative than carbon. Therefore, this double bond will be shifted to oxygen, which will carry a minus charge, and this carbon will develop a positive charge. So like this, and there are many more methods of generating. In the due course of the reaction, I will be explaining to you how to generate those things. Another way of generating plus minus, especially in the case of an alkene, you can see that, so depending upon which carbon which will generate the carbocation, the double bond will be shifted to that. Say for example, if you have like this. Now if I shift this double bond here, this will create a minus, this will create a plus. This is one way of doing it. Another way of, I will just rub this. Another way of creating a double bond is, we can shift this double bond here, so this will create a minus, this will create a plus. As you can see, this is a primary carbocation, this will form a secondary carbocation. So this type of shifting is correct, this type of shifting is wrong. So this is how you create a plus minus in the case of reactants and in reagents, depending upon what type of compound that is generally given in that. Okay, so this is the first step in predicting the product for any organic reaction. So the next step is, as I told you, that you have to see the solvents. So in solvents, we are generally having two classes of solvents. One is called as polar solvents, another is called as non-polar solvents. So polar solvents will have a charged center in the compound. Non-polar solvents will not have any charge. So no charge will be here. So this polar solvents is further subdivided into two categories. One is called as protic solvents, another is called as aprotic solvents. So generally these polar solvents will have some dipole moment. So dipole moment is given by mu is equal to Q into D, where mu is the dipole moment, Q is the charge on each atom, and D is the distance between the two atoms, which is just for your reference purpose. So any compound having a net dipole moment greater than 0 will be called as a polar solvent. So in this protic and aprotic is where hydrogen will be present in that compound. Aprotic will be there will not be any hydrogen. For example, if you take water is an example of a protic solvent. Similarly, if you take methanol you will have a protic solvent like this. Aprotic solvent which will be having net dipole moment greater than 0 will be dimethyl sulfoxide and dimethyl formamide. So I will just tell you formamide. So this is formic acid. If you treat this with ammonia, this is an acid base reaction where water molecule will be removed. So when you remove the water molecule, you will have formamide will be formed here. This is called as formamide. If you replace the two hydrogen atoms with two methyl groups, we call this as dimethyl formamide. So this dimethyl formamide will have a carbonyl group here. So this will create a plus minus here, and the nitrogen will be having a lone pair. Therefore the net dipole moment of this molecule will be greater than 0. Therefore it is a polar solvent, but there is no proton here. This hydrogen is not dissociatable. Therefore this comes under the aprotic solvent. The another one is dimethyl sulfoxide. So dimethyl sulfoxide is another aprotic solvent which gets polar in nature. Non-polar solvents include benzene, pyridine, kerosene, petrol. All these things will come under the non-polar solvents. Okay. So this is the step 1 in predicting the products. So we have seen, I will just quickly tell you what we have seen in this video. This is the organic schema I told you. You have the reactants treated with reagents in the presence of a solvent which forms an intermediate. Intermediate will be usually a carbocation or a carbanion which has to be stabilized by one of the 7 effects, and then the leaving group has to leave from the intermediate, then you get the product. This is called as a fugacity order. And then predicting the products, the first step is you need to generate plus minus and plus minus in reactant and reagent. For creating plus minus and plus minus, I have told you 3 methods of separating plus minus, and once you have done that, you have to stabilize the intermediate, and then you have to identify the solvent. So, in reagent also you have to create plus minus, and reactant also you have to create plus minus. These two has to be stabilized, and then in the presence of solvent, either polar solvent, we will have certain reactions going on. In the presence of non-polar solvent, we will have certain reactions going on. Then the intermediate has to be stabilized by one of these effects. Then the leaving group will come out, and then we will get the product. So, this is the part 1 of this video. In the next video, I will explain to you about the various effects that stabilizes the intermediate of the intermediate that is generated in the organic reaction. Okay. Thanks for watching.